What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's that time of the week. It's weekly rotation time, and I dove into a few clones this week that are new to the collection. Some impressed, some were lukewarm and pretty good, but not as special as they could have been, or maybe as others. And then a couple different fragrances I wanted to reach for. Some designers that I bought that I've been having for a little bit and just haven't gotten around to. Just not the typical rotation. There's some different variety this go around, but all phenomenal scent profiles for sure. And it's week number 194 in the weekly rotation, so stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday is one of those new clones I was speaking out. This is the one that impressed. I actually did a full review on this one. I gave it a pretty high mark. It's a clone of one of my favorite blue fragrances. This is from Fragrance World. This is called F Le Parfum. It is a clone of YSL Y Le Parfum, which is my favorite version of Y. They knocked it out the park. Aldehyde, citrus, apple, crisp ginger, nice and spicy. A little creamy, musky, woody. So good. Really good performer without being a monster. 29 bucks. I'm here for this one. I'm here for this one. I like this more than Imperium, their clone of Elysian Parfum Cologne. I don't have a bunch from Fragrance World, but there's other clones recently I picked up that were good, but not as good as this one. And the main reason I feel that way is because it's so accurate to cloning one of my favorite designers. So I strongly encourage you to check this one out because you're looking around $80+ for a 60 ml, which is what I have, of Y Le Parfum, and for 29 bucks you can get 100 ml. And I'm telling you guys out in the air, you're not telling me a difference in the two. Side by side is even crazy difficult. I really can't tell much of a difference until the deeper dry down. This is a little bit creamier. Outside of that, you know, it's good luck. I mean, on skin, this one's a little spicier too. It's a little creamier in the dry down, a little bit spicier in the, you know, the opening early heart of the fragrance, but very faint. And look, that's up close, out in the air. I mean, I'd be amazed if you could tell me the differences, honestly. If I could walk by you and you not, you know, and you tell me, oh, that's F Le Parfum, that's the clone, I'd be shocked because it's that accurate. They did a really good job with this one. I was very impressed. If you want to hear more, definitely check out that full review to get, you know, a little more in depth with the nuance and the way it performs and so on. But during the day, I'm digging this one, guys. This was a great pickup for me. This is F Le Parfum from Fragrance World. And then when I got out the shower, it was time for a good shave. So I reached for the Zaharoff Signature Citrine shave set. And of course, I gave myself a few sprays of the fragrance. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Warm, sweet orange, smoky. God, so good. So good. Such an incredible freshie. It really is. An elegant freshie. Natural citrus. Super fresh, ambery, has a sea amber note. A little bit of an ambery feel as it dries. The incense really pops off of my skin with this sweet orange clementine combo. The clementine gives a little bit of a lime smell. Man, I love using this one out the shower. Starting to put a decent little dent in my aftershave splash because you don't need much. The restrictor does its job. Just a little bit of aftershave in the hand. Rub your hands together and do your thing, and that's with you on my head and the neck and certain areas on my face. Obviously I have a beard, so it's not a whole lot of shaving going on the face, but the neck and my head, that's where we're shaving. But out the shower, I was smelling incredible, had a good shave. It was a Zaharoff Signature Citrine. Moving into Monday, this is one of the more versatile fragrances as far as the freshies from Mancera, because the cedar wood here plays a pretty big role in making a nice woody dry down to add some real, you know, mass appeal, versatility, kind of Swiss Army knife appeal to this one. I guess you could say it's Melody of the Sun. Known to be full of citruses, fruit, a little bit of tea, and some florals. There's a lot going on here, but that cedar wood really kind of works hand in hand with all the rest of the notes. It's fresh, it's mouth-watering, it's beautiful. Beautiful. It's such an invigorating tea note. It's not relaxing and laid back. This is a great year-round, everyday wear, in my opinion, if you want something that's on the fresher side. 8 hours, easy of longevity, not overwhelming projection and sillage, but noticeable, noteworthy, present, assertive without being too assertive. This is a really good fragrance. This doesn't get enough love from them because they have so many really good fresh fragrances out there that I wouldn't call true freshies because they have some balls to them. There's depth, there's a little bit of complexity, and like I said, with the depth, there's power to it. They nuance a little bit. It's not like an Acqua di Parma super mega fresh like Colonia Flanker, because this has some real staying power. A little bit more synthetics versus the naturals that are in an Acqua di Parma, but you get the idea, I would think, of what I'm trying to get at here. Just beautiful stuff. If you haven't tried this one yet, this is criminally underrated. This is one of the best fresh Manceras out there. This is an easy 8 to 9 out of 10 range type of fragrance. Beautiful stuff. Perfectly unisex, though I do find even with the florals, it leans a touch to the masculine side because of the cedarwood dominance. But it was a pleasure to wear. During the day on Monday was Melody of the Sun from Mancera. And then we got the shower. Watery, fruity, and pepper spice. There's this pimento spiciness. This doesn't get any love anymore. It's still super cheap. It's Bentley For Men Azure. You don't hear anybody talk about this one anymore. I did a full review on this one like 4 years ago on this channel. It's still like a $25 fragrance from discounters. It's so good. It is so good. So good. Pineapple pimento combo with this fresh spicy tone. It's musky clean. It's very aquatic and watery. It's a really good performer. It's above average 6 to 8 hour range and longevity. Easily. Way more performance than I need out the shower, but I've been having it sit there because since I talked about it not long ago, I've been wanting to wear it, and it was nice to finally put it in the rotation. This is so underappreciated from Bentley. There's, most of their fragrances get more love than this one. Bentley For Men Absolute, kind of a in-the-know kind of fragrance. Bentley For Men, I praise all the time. Bentley For Men Intense was the biggest hype beast, and then some of the momentum flankers get a bunch of love, but you don't really hear anybody singing this one's praises. There was a time years ago, but this is still slightly unique, a little bit different for a freshie with some good performance. It's a straight-up cheap fragrance. This is good stuff, guys. You might want to check this one out. I'll try to have links to everything down below. But out the shower, it was an absolute pleasure to wear Bentley For Men Azure. Moving into Tuesday. Now, I do think this is very good. I gave it a pretty good rating. But when you compare it to the designer's cloning, it can't touch it. I think 1 Million Parfum is definitely better, in my opinion, than Lattafa Gold, Fakhar Gold. But this is a solid fragrance. It really is. I mean, you only have to spend like $30 or $40 more to get 1 Million Parfum. And it is better. Though I will say this is a little bit fresher. The bubblegum sweetness is not as heavy on this one versus the original. So if maybe that was a turnoff for you about 1 Million Parfum, maybe give this one a try. This might be a better take on it for you. I could see where this is better for certain people than the original. But for me, the original is superior. I am happy to have it, though. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to wear it. I do like it. It's fresher, slightly more tropical than it is bubblegum sweet 1 Million Parfum. Above average performance. Again, if you want more detail beyond this, please check out my full review on it. But you could do a lot worse than getting this, but you could do a lot better than getting this at the same time. So I gave it around, I want to say a 7 out of 10, which is still very good in my rating scale. Very good fragrance. But I gave F. La Parfum a 9 out of 10, just to give you guys an idea. Because when it comes to the clones of designers, you got to knock it out of the park. Otherwise, what's the point? It's not worth it. You can just double the money. Sounds like a lot when you say double the money. But when I say $39 versus $77, it doesn't sound as big of a deal when you say the actual figure, because it's less than double actually. But you see what I'm saying? Because I paid $77 for a white box tester of 1 Million Parfum. I paid $39 for this from Fragrance Buy. So yes, on a budget, it does the trick. It's just as good, but in the air, not gonna be able to tell the difference. Performance is better with the original. The density of the aroma is better with the original, but at the same time, that bubblegum smell that the 1 Million line is known for, that's more present in the original than it is here. So again, if that's kind of a slight turnoff for you, and maybe you'd like a version of 1 Million with less of that, this might be the one. The tuberose, there's a little bit of saltiness to this. Like I said, it's more of a tropical feel by the beach tone. It's a little bit fresher. It is still a very good fragrance. It's just not as good as what it's cloning. During the day, Lattafa Fakhar Gold. And then we got out the shower. We stuck with clones. We went super fresh this time with Emir Trillium from Paris Corner. Pretty much at this point, My favorite Elysium Parfum Cologne clone. It's just so fresh. I love the way this one smells. And it's perfect out the shower. 3 to 4 hours at best of longevity. It's not real strong. After an hour, it's pretty much a skin scent. Or close to the skin anyways. Little baby atomizer. You always have a double spray. Just to get kind of a spray. But it smells so good. Beautiful, sharp grapefruit, metallic black currant, fresh and woodsy vetiver. This is so good. So good. I love the way it smells. But if you're looking for a lot of performance, this is going to be a pass for you. Because you have to temper your expectations with performance to get a really good experience of freshness. This is the version you want of Elysium Parfum Cologne for the gym, for running errands, and for fresh out the shower if you typically shower in the evenings like I do. Unless you need a shower during the day. You know, that does happen where I have to take 2 showers in a day. But that's what I like this for. It's very functional for me. But maybe not so much for others that are like, nope, it doesn't last that long pass. Totally get it. I totally get it. But out the shower, one of my favorites. Emir Trillium from Paris Corner. Moving into Wednesday, this is going to seem a bit back-asswards. Yes, I said that backwards because it's going to seem like I wore these backwards. Because I wore the fresh fragrance during the day and the crazy beast, rich, deep fragrance at night. But there's a story behind it. But during the day, I went with Kaheela Platinum from Paris Corner, which is a clone of Le Beau Eau de Toilette from Jean Paul Gaultier. One of the better coconut freshies for the summertime. You want a great tropical fragrance, this is the DNA for you. And Kaheela Platinum's a great take on it. Sub $40 price point. I believe it's 80 ml or 90 ml, something like that. I forgot exactly what size. Le Beau Eau de Toilette for a 4.2. You're going to pay about double. So again, the same philosophy applies here, where if you're going to clone a designer that you can get under $100, you got to knock it out the park. And they knocked it out the park here. I have to say, they did. It's basically a carbon copy. You get the beautiful juicy bergamot hit, the nice rich tropical feel, little sunscreen touch from the coconut with the sweet powdery tonka bean. It is tonka bean dominant. It's an above average performer without being a beast. It's really good. I actually reach for this more than the original. It allows me to preserve, even though I don't need to preserve it, but it allows me to preserve my 4.2 ounce of Le Beau. It's really, really good. Now, the reason I say it's backwards or back-asswards, as I stated it, out the shower, I wore Dior Homme Parfum. Typically not the greatest thing for those of you that know my out-the-shower situation. This is because the next day, the 2 sprays I had one spray on this forearm and 1 spray behind my neck at 9 o'clock at night. Next day at the gym for lunch, I had to be like filling the airspace around me because all I could smell, this was pumping off of my skin. The next day, 14, 15 hours later, this was pumping off of my skin when my body heated up. So the reason being, I just did a live stream updating my, if I was to keep only 10 fragrances for life without any, guidelines of niche, designer, cheapy, anything like that, it was just broad. Only 10, just 10 fragrances, period. This is the obvious. This is the first one we discussed. I made a post about it on Instagram. And because I was gathering the fragrances, it made me want to spray it. I haven't worn it in a while. Oh, God. One of the best fragrances ever created. This is the old 75 ml. Before they switched to the 2020 version, that's a 100 milliliter bottle. That is the one that pops up from time to time now. You can see the font's different and everything. This is monstrous. It got me thinking the way it performed with 2 sprays. Like, why? I used to always do 4 sprays. Why the hell am I doing 4 sprays? 2 is more than enough. This is that strong on my skin. I don't know about the 100 ml bottles. I've never smelled those, but these 75 mls, monstrosities of performers. They really are. Just powdery iris, animalistic leather oud combo, rich rose, settles into a creamy sandalwood with some of that iris. Just beautiful, elegance at its finest, the greatest iris fragrance ever composed, in my personal opinion. But if you want to check out that Keep 10 for Life, definitely check out the live stream. I guess somewhere I'll have had the iCard on here somewhere. You just click any one of them, and there's a list of them that's in this video that will pop up. So you could have clicked the first one, the second one, the third one, whatever. And it'll be right there on the screen for you to check it out. But check that out to see which 10 I would keep. But out the shower, surprisingly, Dior Homme Parfum. Moving into Thursday, this is a prime example of what bad hype and bad marketing can do for a good fragrance. Because there's a There's pushback from anonymous profiles on the internet about this one because they're under the assumption that people only talk about this if they get paid for it. It's not actually a good fragrance. They only say it's good if they get paid for it. The Blu Atlas Atlantis, I'm here to tell you, is a solid fragrance. I do like this fragrance. I wouldn't recommend it as a blind buy. I mean, it's $100. You can go to Etsy and there's a bunch of sellers that sell different size decants and just try it for yourself and see, because this is a great everyday mass appealing fragrance for men as intended, in the same category as all these mid-level blue fragrances these days, but it's a little different. It's apricot and peach, so the fruitiness is a little different. You do have citruses, bergamot, lemon, stuff like that, but it's apricot and peach dominant, which typically it comes across feminine in more ladies' perfumes, but that's not the case here. Then you have iris and violet and heart, which it's soapy. It's not just super flowery and crazy powdery. It's not an earthy type of violet. It's, a little soapy. And then it's mainly dominated by a very clean musk. There's a little bit of a floral feel to it, but like I said, it's more soapy. And just, like I said, clean musk dominance. My wife is a big fan of this one. She was very appreciative of me smelling it. She kept telling me how good I smelled. I really like this fragrance. I always have from the first time I smelled it. Yeah, they sent it to me. I did a review on it last year. It's been a long time since I did the review on it. And I revisit it from time to time because I do like this fragrance. I don't care who believes me or not. I like this fragrance. And it's been a little while since I wore it. And it came up recently on a live stream, and I'm like, glad you brought that up. I need to remember to throw that in my rotation. And here we are. Ended up wearing it. It's some good stuff. Like I said, try before you buy. Be your own judge. Don't let me sway you either way. Don't let anybody else on camera sway you. And don't let some random faceless profile sway you either. Like I said, the only place I've seen that you can easily get a decant from a multitude of sellers is Etsy. Go to Etsy.com and just type in the name of the fragrance, and a bunch of sellers that are selling decants will come up, and try it for yourself. It might be a pass. You might think it's terrible, or you might be like, man, people are crazy. I like this fragrance. I'm getting a bottle. Because that's kind of where I'm at. I think people are crazy. I think it's overly criticized and unfairly criticized because this, anytime a brand comes out of nowhere with a fragrance and starts passing out bottles to content creators, influencers, reviewers, whatever you'd like to call any of us, when that stuff starts happening, the trolls start freaking the hell out. And it's actually a good fragrance. It's not a great fragrance. It's not phenomenal. It's not the end-all be-all. But it is a very good fragrance. And it's a little bit different from all the other mass appealing stuff that are in the same category. So yeah, it was nice to revisit. During the day, Blu Atlas Atlantis. And then when I got the shower, I just picked this one up at the rack store. My wife really, really likes this one. She was loving me wearing these. Told me it smelled sexy and everything. I was very surprised at how much she actually liked this. Abercrombie and Fitch Away. Yep. It smells kind of more like CK Defy Eau de Toilette than YSLY, but that smells like YSLY. So the reason I say more like that, because it doesn't have all the aldehydes of YSLY. That's the distinctive difference between Calvin Klein Defy EDT and Yves Saint Laurent Y EDT, is that. So you still have fruitiness here. It's just pineapple instead of apple. Pineapple and grapefruit, if I remember correctly. And you do have that woody nuance from CK Defy. And it's got a little bit of Versace Pour Homme going on here. Maybe even a little Allure Homme Sport. That's why in the rack store video I gave the example of picture Y EDT or Defy EDT, either one, mixed with Missoni Wave. Because Missoni Wave's kind of a hybrid Versace Pour Homme, Chanel Allure Homme Sport kind of fragrance. So I know that I'm throwing a lot of names at you, but if you're familiar with any of those, you'll be pretty familiar with this scent profile. It's actually pretty good. 50 ml, I paid $17.99 for this at Ross Dress for Less. I wore it out the shower. It's nice. It's not a monster performer. It was gone in 4 hours. That's kind of what I expected, but for $18 for this 50 ml, it smells great. It's a great everyday reach if you can have the ability to keep your bottle with you. It's great out the shower, and it's a great gym fragrance. A little stronger in the first hour than I would like for the gym, but 2 or 3 sprays, you're fine if you want to rock this one to the gym. But I was very surprised how much my wife likes this one. Out the shower, Abercrombie and Fitch Away. Moving into Friday, this is the first time I wore this. I'm actually wearing it right now. It's Friday at the recording of this video. It's what I have on skin. And I'm going to double up on this tonight. The wife really loved this one. I kept getting the deep sniff. Ooh. And she'd reach in and sniff. Ooh. She kept doing that. So she's a fan of XX Artisan Teal. I'm sorry, Artisan, not Artisan Teal. XX Artisan from John Varvatos. I've worn Artisan Teal. I'm a big fan. So the difference with Artisan Teal versus this is that's got that water lily feel to give it more of a, it's more musky than this, and it's more aquatic, but it's still based around this scent profile. This is the previous version to Artisan Teal. This has a juicy citric tone, a little bitter. This is good. This is really, really good. Have it on the top of the forearms, got a bunch around the neck. It's a little musky at this point with this tinge of wood. I like this. A little bit of florals in here. Very fresh. Very, very fresh. If you have others in the line, it's not the most unique. Like if you have Artisan Teal, you don't technically need this. I do think Teal is better. The flanker to this, I think it's better. But this is also a flanker. Artisan is the original. This is a flanker to Artisan. Artisan Teal is a flanker to the flanker. The flanker to the flanker is the better fragrance. If you're deciding between the two, go with Teal. My opinion, of course. It's got more going on than this, but it's also much more familiar. Whereas this is familiar to, I would say more so along the lines of the original Artisan mixed with Artisan Pure with a touch of Teal. It's kind of an amalgamation of the entire line. This would like represent the line as a whole. There's a little bit of all of the Artisan flankers here. Some of the green feel of Artisan Blue and Artisan Aqua. You get the point. I would say this is every bit of a very good 7.5 out of 10 fragrance, where I like something like the Teal flanker as an 8 out of 10 great. And the reason I'm able to give it that bump is when you comparatively look at both of them. Not everybody wants to have both, so that's why I'm doing this here and now, because I don't plan on doing individual reviews on either. But this is actually quite nice. I'm enjoying it so much so to the point, I know I'm being a little critical of it, but I mean, that's part of what reviewing fragrances are. You know, you have to be a little critical on certain aspects. I'm going to wear this again tonight. When I get out the shower, I'm throwing this one back on again because I am enjoying it. I think it's a great everyday wear. It's a spray it and forget it. It'll remind you it's there from time to time with light little whiffs. It's not really strong. It's not super long lasting. I've had it on for about 4 hours. It's still there, but it's, you know, it's getting pretty much to where it's about to fade away. I would say I maybe got another hour before it fades. So we can call it 4 to 6 hour range for longevity, but it's a solid fragrance, but it's not special. It's not special. All day long, XX Artisan from John Varvatos. Finally, on Saturday, I've been looking forward to wearing this one all week. This is one of the best niche releases of the year, in my opinion. It's a brand new release from Vilhelm Parfumerie. This is called Faces of Francis. I absolutely adore Faces of Francis. So this opens up the top notes. You get a load of them. Aldehydes and saffron. Fizzy fresh, warm and spicy. Metallic. That's the top note. Fizzy fresh, warm and spicy, and metallic. Odd combination, but boy, does it work. It is good stuff. There it is. A little bit of a milky lactonic feel to it as it settles. This creamy pistachio comes in. There's oud listed, but I don't get any sort of funk to indicate an oud smell. It does not have an oud smell. It does have a dominance in woods, though, as it dries. This pistachio, grilled pistachio note that they're calling it, gives a little bit of a creamy feel. Nutty, creamy type of feel with, like I said, counterbalance with that woody nuance. But the top, and the saffron hangs out for a long time. Long time. It's very saffron dominant. Loads of saffron. You have to like saffron. But this is the best aldehydic note that I have in that wall full of fragrances. This is my favorite aldehyde note, for sure. I don't know what's different about the oil they use. Maybe it's just the blending with the saffron, whatever, but the opening is so enjoyable, and it takes quite a while for the opening to fade into obscurity, where it's just woods and pistachio, but which is still quite nice, don't get me wrong. But I can't wait to wear this one tomorrow, because it's been a little over a week, close to 2 weeks since the last time I wore it. And like I said before, I think it's one of the best releases of the year. Sample this one and try it. Try it in the link below. I think a sample's like $5. Try this fragrance. It's different. Very good. Different for sure. So on Saturday during the day, Faces of Francis, the newest release from Vilhelm Parfumerie. And then we got the shower. We're gonna go back to the well with Abercrombie and Fitch away because the wife enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it quite a bit wearing it out the shower last night. That why the hell not? Why put any more thought into it beyond this? It was enjoyable within the last few days. Let's go back to the well. It's not all the time that I revisit frequently like this, unless it's an out the shower fragrance typically. And that's what we're going to do with this, because I'm a huge fan of all of the fragrances that it reminds me of. It's kind of an amalgamation of them all, kind of a Franken fragrance in many ways. But out the shower, we're going back to the well with Abercrombie and Fitch away. Well, that's this week's rotation, and until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What did your rotation look like this week? Did you wear one fragrance, 3, 5? Did you wear something different every day? I'd love to read about it down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I wore this week and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.